Austria meet Poland, both sides yet to register a point, so a loss for either side tonight will end their Euro 2008 hopes. And the sides have arrived in Klagenfurt, Germany, full of confidence after that impressive display against Poland. A win this afternoon will as good as guarantee their passage through to the quarter-finals. But of course, Croatia will have similar thoughts, but they will need to perform a whole lot better than they did in their opener against Austria. So this is today's lineup. Croatia and Germany meeting Klagenfurt. Kickoff there is at 5 o'clock. And at 7:45, the stakes are very high indeed as Poland take on Austria in Vienna. The loser of that one can obviously say good night, Vienna. Good afternoon and you're very welcome to day 6 of Euro 2008. Yesterday we witnessed a Ronaldo-inspired win for Portugal, if that's not putting it too strongly. That was over the Czech Republic, which ensured their safe passage through to the quarter-final stages. Later in the evening, Switzerland bowed out of the competition, leaving Turkey and the Czech Republic vying for that second spot in Group A. Well, today, Germany, Croatia, Poland and Austria attempt to further their European aspirations in Group B. And with me to run the rule over the evening ahead are John, Ronnie and Eamon. And just before we chat with the lads, let's have a look at the standing in Group B right now as it stands going into the day's games. Germany and Croatia both on 3 points. Germany top due to more goals scored. Austria and Poland with no points after their opening day losses. Well, we look forward in detail to Croatia and Germany shortly, but first we'll get a reaction from the panel about the no-surprise appointment of Phil Scolari as Chelsea manager. John, it was announced yesterday evening. Were you at all surprised by it?
Well, I was surprised at the timing of it. I thought they might have waited until this European Championship was over, but they've obviously decided to do it and he's agreed to it. I think he's got a good CV. He looks like a strong man, and I think he'll need to be gone to Chelsea. It depends on how Abramovich approaches the appointment of the manager, if he allows the manager to manage. As we've seen from Grant's comments, and I think it was obvious with Mourinho, they weren't allowed to do what they should have been allowed to do. And I think he would have insisted that he would have the power to do what he needed to do, Scolari. And I said there were promises made to him. Now, whether those promises will be kept remains to be seen, because he's obviously been hands-on, Abramovich, and interfering. So he should have learned his lesson. If he appoints a manager, let the manager get on with it. And hopefully, Scolari will do a good job for Chelsea. Although watching Portugal last night, there were things that were defensively wrong that I think shouldn't have been wrong. We all agree.
Just wonder how long he's going to last at Chelsea. I know he's only going now, but I don't think he'll get on with Abramovich whatsoever. He's a very experienced manager. As John said, he's won lots of trophies in South America. Will he take kindly to Abramovich getting involved in what he's trying to do? I don't think so. Abramovich won't change because, as John said, we've heard it with Grant, Mourinho. He wants to be involved. He is spending the money. To be fair to the man, millions and millions he spent at Chelsea, but he should just let the manager manage, and he should go and buy the players if he wants to spend his money like that. I don't see him getting on with Scolari whatsoever.
Eamon, it'll be an interesting appointment, but even the great Jose Mourinho wasn't strong enough to withstand whatever Abramovich wanted within Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Mourinho bought a lot of bad players, and he accepted things that he shouldn't have accepted before he eventually left or got the sack. With Scolari, he's walking into a hotbed of politics there. Abramovich has his own views, but he also has advisors. Peter Kenyon is the chief executive, who went up Champions League night to receive a runners-up medal. Frank Arneson is the closest advisor, and there's one other guy in there as well. Now, all of these people have opinions. Arneson is there to choose the players they should sign, for example, which is a ludicrous situation. And the temptation for Scolari, I suppose, is the Premier League is the biggest league in Europe now. He's nothing much to prove in South America. He's won the South American equivalent of the Champions League twice. He won the World Cup with Brazil in 2002, which didn't take a lot of winning, but he won it. And Portugal, he took to the final of Euro 2004, which was admittedly in Portugal. The problem for him will be what John and Ronnie have identified: outside influence, interference in his judgment. He should decide who to sign. He should decide who to play. And it was said, for example, that the final nail in Abraham Grant's coffin was the fact that he didn't play Shevchenko for some period in the Champions League final in Moscow. Now, this kind of stuff is nonsense. But he will be on a huge contract, maybe 5-6 million a year, with a severance clause that will guarantee him his money. The question is, will they allow him to manage? And the other question is, will he be able to adapt his views to the Champions League? And I would echo something John said. I watched Portugal yesterday, defending set pieces, defending corner kicks with nobody on the post, on either post. Now that's eccentric, bordering on mad. And he's the coach. So you never know about coaches. No matter what their CV, they've got to do it. It's a fresh challenge. And I don't know.
So the jury's out at the moment. We can't make a judgment call on it. But, John, one thing that I'd be interested in knowing, first of all, he hasn't managed a club in Europe. He hasn't managed a club in the Premier League. So, therefore, he hasn't had to deal with many of the superstars that will be at Chelsea Football Club and all those different personalities. I mean, that's a bit of a challenge for him.
Well, I think he's done it before at club level. Admittedly, not
in South America.
Yeah, but wherever you manage, you have to manage. There's be superstars in South America, the same as England, and I think Mourinho proved, and I think it was something that we all doubted whether he could do it or not, gone into all the egos at Chelsea when he did, and he got a hold of it. And good managers will be able to do that. If he's made of the right stuff, he will be able to do that. I think he will adapt to that very, very quickly. And the problem is, we've all said it now, if he can identify the players that he wants and gets them into the club is the most important thing, because he knows then what he wants and who he wants in the club. I wouldn't have any doubts about him adapting to the Premiership, because he's been dealing in Portugal now as manager for the last 5 or 6 years, and I'm sure he's been to England quite a few times to watch Portuguese players and see how it works. I think any manager would do that, no matter where they're managing. So I'd say he would be quite familiar with the Premiership, and I think the egos, I don't think, would be a problem for him.
Yeah, I have a point of him at the moment, because there's talk of Carvalho possibly leaving Chelsea. There's talk of Lampard, and also there's talk of Drogba. I think the reason the appointment was announced now, John, was to reassure those players that there's a top man coming in and that the situation's in hand.
Yeah.
Okay, well, best of luck to Phil Scolari at Chelsea. He's got quite a challenge ahead as they go in quest of trophies next Premier League season. Okay, it's time to get on to our preview to the Croatia-Germany game, a hugely important match from Group B. And we're going to have a look at the Germany team first. Ronnie, you're going to take this. I don't think there are any changes from the first outing, are there? Yeah,
which is no surprise. They looked very, very strong the other day. Goals from everywhere. Podolski, Ballack, Fritz, Gomez, Klose, they're all capable of scoring goals. Any negative, it's maybe at the back. Metzelder, Mertesacker. Didn't look altogether strong, really, really strong. Metzelder's only started 7 league games with Real Madrid this season, so he could be a bit ring rusty. I think if anything, if Croatia can get at the 2 centre-backs, they may get something out of the game. But for me, overall, I feel this German team is probably the best as a whole that I've seen in the competition so far. There's just so much class about the whole side.
And John, there's no shortage of experience in that side, is there?
No, they're very experienced, probably well-balanced side. And I think in the last World Cup, they looked a little bit dodgy at the back. They weren't exposed that much. They're always efficient, good, hard-working. I think Eamon said the other day that the attitude was great, and we were doubting some of the team's attitudes going into this match.
Yeah.
But they were up for it, did it, which they normally do. You can never doubt their attitude when they get into these big competitions. And they started off as favourites for the competition.
Well, Eamon, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you question the abilities of this German team relative to German teams of the past when you were previewing Group B in our opening programme?
Yeah, Bill made the provocative claim that this was the best German team of all time.
All right. Well, I'm not saying that.
I remember. No, he'd read it in the papers. This is probably the worst German team of all time. But that's not to say that this coach and Jurgen Klinsmann before didn't do good jobs. They did. They have. Because some of the players are very ordinary. The back four, the 2 centre halves are desperately ordinary, and I think they will be exposed if they are put under pressure and attacked. And even Poland the other night had opportunities to score against them. But they have got a very, very high motivation. They looked extremely fit against Poland, covering the ground, zipping the ball around, supporting each other, everyone getting back to defend, including Ballack. I think Ronnie made the point on the show. I was at home watching him, getting back in the last minute, heading a ball out of his own 6-yard box. So you know, you can question the attitude of some of the Spanish players, perhaps the Italians, the French were diabolical. No question about the Germans. They're up for it. And the other key factor is their manager is very, very popular with the players. There was great sort of unity after the match the other night, great joy. They obviously want to win this tournament, and that's a very powerful sort of factor in the equation.
Yeah, do you
I think
this
what happened the other night, I think what Bill was saying afterwards, you know the paper that he read? Somebody said it was from 1974, I think.
It was when Beckenbauer and Gerd Muller and all those guys are playing.
Yeah.
Uliones,
Yeah,
who'd be
I think he
saying
just read the date afterwards.
Yeah, they possibly don't have players of that quality now. But let's have a look at the Croatian team because, of course, they're providing the opposition. Maybe is this the team that can unlock that rear guard that you're a little bit worried about, Amy?
well, they were very disappointing against Austria, having taken the lead after 4 minutes. The two centre-backs are very good, Kovac and Simonic, very good. I'd be worried about the right-back, especially Manchester City, Korluka. I'm not mad about him. In midfield, Kovac and Modric. Now, Modric has signed for Spurs for 16 million, and he was very disappointing tonight. He looked slight, far too slight to play top-class football, and also he didn't keep possession of the ball. He's their playmaker, and he didn't do it very well against Austria. Kranjčar we know from Portsmouth. He's moody, he's very, very gifted. Olic is the workhorse up front. He's got good feet. He held the ball up when it was played up to him, but he didn't make much progress. Final pass wasn't great. And number 7, Rakitic, they brought into the side today. I don't know anything about him, but what I do know is they beat England home and away. They hammered them in a way at Wembley. They got a 2-goal start. England got back, and then they won 3-2. Came back to score a winning goal. And like Ronnie, again, Ronnie said the other night, I was sitting at home watching it, that persuaded Ronnie that they were a serious team, a very good team. And I made that same assessment myself. When they played Austria on Saturday, I was very, very disappointed.
Well, maybe they perform better against the better teams, and maybe we'd see a better performance against Germany. But we want to do a little bit more on Germany here, John, because Podolski got the 2 goals. He hasn't had the best of club seasons, but I mean,
He's got to be scoring goals. I think he's sort of playing left-hand side of the front three. But you know, when he's say the ball picks it up on the left-hand side, I don't think he's going to beat players and you know, lay goals on. And I think he'll have a good left foot, might get a few good crosses in. But I think he's limited in what he can actually do.
Okay, Ronnie, one of the worrying things from a Croatian point of view is the number of chances that they allowed Croatia, one of the lowly rated teams in this tournament.
Box they didn't deal with properly on the day, but usually they do.
Okay, thanks for the moment, Ronnie. We're going to take a short break now, but we'll be going live to Klagenfurt in Austria in just a few moments, so do stay with us.
A killer who's out of our tiny mind.
Female serial killers are rare enough. Delusional psychosis in women? Rarer still.
Crime Scene Investigation, Monday at 10 on RTÉ2.
Now is the time to get behind your county as the long road to Croke Park begins.